Hello. This is Pat with Petruska Papers. I am out in the Bluebird Bungalow, and yes, it has been a minute. A long minute. But I'm here today to do a junk journal of sorts. Now, this is the prototype. I'm getting ready to do a trip, and I need to make two specific type junk journals that will have inserts. So this is what I have come up with, and I used some faux leather. I've got some freebies because the trip I'm taking is to Scotland. I can't even believe it. I keep pinching myself. My arm's all black and blue. But these are some freebies. These are tartan plaids. So I have a red one, and they just happen to be from the McLean's. So there are two. I thought there was always one, but this is the Hunter, and I guess when it's a Hunter tartan, and if you know more than me, please comment, but it's usually greens and natural tones, so that as they're out in their kilts with their Hunter color tartan, I say tartan, but it's tartan. Did I say anything different? Then they're not so seen. It's almost like camo here in the US, where this red, you wouldn't wear it hunting because you'd have like a target on your back. So anyway, this and this, and I think this lined paper will be the freebies. They will be available in my coffee shop. I will link that below. Okay, so let me show you. So this journal, let's move these out of the way. This journal is 5 inches by 8 inches. Inside I've got an envelope, pocket, and then just a small pocket for just various receipts and things that'll go there. I'm going to make 2 inserts with elastic so that they will be removable. There are magnets in there, and then here on this side I've got some metal discs, and we'll talk more about that when I get to it. And I'm going to get started. So I am going to cut, and I'm going to go prep all of my goodies, and I'll come back and I'll show you what I've done. I'll be right back. Okay, let me show you what I have prepared. First of all, I'm going to use some art glitter glue, some Fabri-Tac, some double-sided tape. Again, I've got my faux leather. I've got a strip of canvas. What are you? You are almost 3 inches, but I'm going to say, it's really 2.5. The fringes I'm not going to count. Okay, I have my front and back cover, which are 5 inches across and 8 inches, and then my spine, I decided I wanted 1.5 by the 8 inches. Okay, and I have taken and cut the white off of the red tartan plaid, and I was left with pieces that were oh gosh, almost, after I cut the white off, almost a 1/2 inch less. So I've got 10 and not quite a 3/4. Okay. So one of the pieces I have left the full length, which again is 10 and, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. Yeah, I do know how to figure that. So that really doesn't matter. Now, if you print without a border, you are lucky, luckier than me. I can't seem to figure that out. It really isn't going to affect anything. You'll just have more overturn. I wouldn't cut it down. This is for the back cover, and so I've traced out my 5x8 and I've added 1.5 inches so that I will get this turn under. So this one is for that, and this one is for that. Okay? All right. Now, let's cover and start. So, I've got this cover, which as soon as I do this, this becomes the back cover that will come around to the front. And I did not get my magnets and my metal discs. So let's see, what have I got in here? I do have them on my Ko-fi shop. Let's see what's in here. It's the great, is this the ones I want? I think so. I'll put a link to my Ko-fi shop below that you can check that out. Okay. Whoa! All right. I don't want the, do I want the huge ones? I don't think so. All right. Now, we need to figure this out. Now, I'm going to use my bone folder. Where'd you go? There you are. And make a really nice, as crisp as I can fold. This is going to, the folded part is going to come up and around and click on those metal discs. So they need to be down here on the flap. So I'm going to put a piece of, in fact, I think I'll put two. I'm going to start getting ready to stick this to each other. And do another one really close, because that's where I'm going to stick my magnets on. And I do just a couple more of these. And then I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. Don't want this getting too wet. Okay. And I made the prototype this morning, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, did I remember how I did it? So we'll find out. I need to burnish these down. Okay, nicely burnished down. And let's take off at least these top ones. This is always a challenge, isn't it? Double-sided tape. Now, you really don't need to have double-sided tape. You could use, to adhere down your magnets, you could just use single-sided tape and then glue with whatever you prefer. I just happen to prefer this. I don't want it to get too soggy wet with a wet glue. And I think I really want the edges right up to there covered with glue or tape. So I'm going to just, I forgot. Don't get too much of that on there. And over here. So how is everybody? I know I had some of you reach out to me. Pat, are you okay? Well, heat and the Bluebird Bungalow don't always go together. Me and heat don't always go together, and for some reason it just wiped out any creativity I could muster up. And that's why this project is pretty basic, so that I don't have to think too much. All right, now let me just think for a minute. I want to put my magnets on. Oh, look at that, man, they stick so well. Put them in there, and let's see if I can get this one close to where that is. I think that looks pretty good. I am going to come onto this now, and I'm going to put this down. I want just a little bit. So I'm going to do maybe a ½ inch. Okay. All right. Now I need to put some this just kind of gives some wiggle room, because you know, once you put down double-sided tape, you're pretty well committed. But this gives me a little wiggle room whether I need it or not. Okay, so I'm going to bring that around like that, and use my bone folder. Got my air conditioner on, so it makes the lights blink every now and then. And then I'm going to take and run some under here. There's probably an easier way to do this, but that's what we're doing. Okay, and I'm sure I'm going to ooze out. This edge will be covered by the cover paper. Okay. So now our little magnets are in there. They're very lightweight. So this will come up and be folded there. right, like this. Okay. I think this faux leather piece is a little smaller than my prototype. Come on. Okay, so now we need to get our discs on because they're going to be under the cover paper. And what we need to do is make sure we've got that width of the spine counted for. Okay, so what did I use? Oh, I remember. I used this roll of tape and put down the other cover. Okay, and then I've figured out where that fold needs to be, and actually, you know, you could measure 1.5 inches. I mean, really, how hard is that to figure out? So, not quite. About 1.5 inches. Almost. Let's go just a little more. There and there. Okay. All right. Now we're going to put a little bit of tape, double-sided tape, onto each of these. So they'll stick down. This off, and that, and okay. No, you didn't stick down, did you? All right, let's do it again. Let's make sure that's measuring up there. And now they are down. So we have to remember that, come on. I didn't, did I? Okay, that looks pretty good. This is going to be the outside of the cover. So let's start with putting our spine in. And I am going to make some shortcuts here. And you can do whatever you have. If you're going to use a piece of paper, you can use a piece of fabric. I am going to use some bookbinder's tape that I have, and I'm going to tear off. This is, I think, what is this? 2 inches. Let's tear off probably about 10 inches. And tear it off if I can. There we go. Okay. And it's very sticky. So if this were your fabric, you would put your glue onto your, whatever this is. This is your spine. and put it down. You might want to make it more than 2 inches. And then I'm trying to center it in there. Okay. And I'm going to put this, trying to be even. And I'm leaving, oh, I don't know what that is, about 1/4 of an inch. All right, like that. I'm going to take one other piece of this. Now you could use masking tape if you've got a wider masking tape. I don't want that much. I want a little bit less than the length of this. Put that in. And then bring these ends down like that. And then using my bone folder, I'm going to go in to those crevices on both sides. This just guarantees that I will have a good flexible spine. Okay, now this is not quite the depth of that, but I really almost want it to be flexible because it may get bigger. Come on now. You are really not cooperating, are you? Let's get you moved over just a tad. These little middle things, what? Well, now it's there. Now I did it. Okay, you're fine. Stay there. Okay, now, what's next? Next, we're going to put on our lining, or do I want this? I think I want, no, you go on it. No, hold on. Let's look at this. Yes, I let that show. If you don't like that to show, you can put your lining on top of it. But I'm going to let it show. The way you're going to measure, I want it to come down about 1.5 inches on the front. Okay. This is going to come, let's see. This will go right like that and come around on the top. So I'm going to put some Fabri-Tac on here. And bring this just like that. I will go back in with some Fabri-Tac on those edges. Just like that. What did I just say about having that show? Well, this one is not going to show because I'm putting this on now. Silly. Say one thing and then do something different. Okay. Let's push that down. This comes around here. And we don't want it to show on the front. So that's good. This is going to come here. Need some more of this. I'm just going to put it onto the fabric. So I would love to hear what you've been creating. Have you found some new inspiration online, or have you found any new kits? What have you been up to? I have not been up to much. I did start, and this is probably the reason I haven't been very creative, is because I'm working. I'm doing, of all things, I'm doing DoorDash, the food delivery thing. Am I getting rich? No. Doesn't seem like there's any way to get rich quick. And I'm exhausted when I'm done. I shouldn't be. I mean, I'm just sitting in a car, in and out, but it's more a mental thing. So this is my back. This is my front. Here's my papers. So this is going to be on the back, just like that, and it's going to cover that up. And this will go on the front like that, and it will have an edge that goes over, and then we will put our faux leather on. And this is, I think, a little wide. So let's go ahead and do this. Now, do I want to just, what do I want to do? I'm going to use just Fabri-Tac. I did double-sided tape on the other, but I think this will be fine. So I'm just going to put a bead down there and across there and up there and across there and some in the center. Okay. Then going to, I need to do it this way. Okay. So right up there. I don't want it into that crease all the way. Just want to make sure. Oh, I don't have enough. Let's move it down. That's the nice thing about Fabri-Tac. I do have a little bit of time. Okay. And let's just run this across there and there. Got a little oozing. All right, paper towel, where are you? I think that will wipe off after when it's dry. So we're going to bring this around, and this come up here and here. I'm going to cut just a little wedge off. Just so it doesn't edge over into our folding. Okay. Okay. Going to this will have the lining paper over it. All right. Let's just take a look. Okay, so there's the back. This way, the back. And look at that, we are a little large. I think it's too late to adjust. So I I think just going to adjust that fold just a little, like that. Okay, all right, now let's get this front on. And since we know where it's going to go, we'll just put it right on here. Okay, now our faux leather will be on that spine. So first thing I want to do is I'm just going to fold all 3 sides just to get my cross lines like that. And then I'm just for kicks, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line. No, I'm not. I want to use my tool. You could do just a line, but I have this quilter's corner, and it gives me a nice 1/4 inch right here, because you don't want it right up to that edge. Okay. Cut that off. And when I'm turning my cover papers, I like to do the long side last. So I'm going to do those 2, but I'm again going to do a little wedge out of that, just in case it tries to fold into that, into the spine. And let's get some of this. Do these 2 tops. Now, if you're not wild about plaid, and I seem to be, probably because of my trip, I'm just plaid crazy right now. If you're not, use whatever paper you've got. You can use cardstock, you can use not cardstock. And when I see with that 1/4 inch, that gives me that nice little area to use my fingernail so that I'll get a nice corner. So let's get that down. Okay, now let's take a look at our cover. That we did not. We need to go down in here and reinforce that. That will come around like that. Okay, there is our cover. And now we need to do the faux leather. Whoa! Oh, I am so sorry. I forgot that was up there. I'm going to cut this down to right there. What is that? It's 2 1/2. Okay, so Pardon me. I'm going to walk over here, utilize my big okay. So this is going to go on here. And while it's drying, we cannot close the book. We need to let it dry. I'm saying that more for me than for you, but yes, for you too. Don't get anxious because there's lots of pressure on the spine when you fold it. So, oh, and I want to do some distressing on this, on the inside also. Okay. Here we go. This is going to go right there. We will see that fabric. That's part of the charm a bit. Got a little bit of glue there. All right, so I think that I am going to put some double-sided tape on just to help me. There's that. And we'll put one more down the middle. Burnish that on. And now the challenge sometimes to get it off. Oh, it's coming off pretty good. All right. I'm going to put some around the edges. Okay, here we go. I don't have much on that edge, do I? Let's do a nice bead right there. Probably will ooze out a bit. We can deal with that. Okay, right like that. Some blue ooze. Just gonna go on that edge. Okay. And I think, ooh. All right. And this is where you'll be tempted. I'm tempted, but I'm not going to do it. So I'm just ignoring it. Now, there it is. So I'm going to do the other plaid as the lining. And so the lining needs to be a little smaller than the 8. So I'm going to go 7.5 by 5, 7.5 by 3 1/4, 4 1/4. No, 4 3/4. Oh, don't do that. Is that right? This way, this way, this way. 4, no. I'm having a moment. Okay, so it needs to be, I can cut them this way. Okay, let's do 4 3/4 and 4 3/4, and then I want them to be 7 and it's smidged a little. Here, here. Like that. And I think that was why I wanted that fabric, the fringe to show. But that's okay. Whoa, don't close. Let's just make sure. All right, I'm going to do a little distressing so that that white doesn't show. And I am just going to use this Fabri-Tac since we're on a Fabri-Tac roll today. All around this edge. Down it goes. Make sure we're in from that fold. Where are you, fold? That's good. And it looks pretty even around it. Let's do some burnishing. Make sure we get any oozing out. And this one. Pretty even there. Okay. Are we in? There it is, right here. There you are. Yes, that's good. Okay. We're not going to close it. No, we can't close it yet. So, I'm going to pause and get pockets ready for the inside while this is drying. Okay, and then I'll be back. Don't go away. Okay, I've got my pockets. I wanted them a little less than the length of the height of the cover, which is 8 inches. So I've got them 8.5, but then I've scored them at a 1/2 inch on the 3 sides. So that makes this 7.5. So it will sit inside the cover. So I've done that. I've done all of my folding and I cut my corners and I've made my notch, and I am going to use, just so it doesn't get its feelings hurt. Oh, now come on, just because this is my, there it comes, sort of. This is my temperamental art glitter glue. I'm going to put it on the 3 edges. And the reason, if you haven't figured it out, for these folds is it gives a little more space than just a flat pocket. I'm going to do that little wedge just in case my fold's not straight. All right, this this is going to go, let's get some space here, right like that. I'm going to come down just a little. Where is that? There it is. Don't want it into that fold, which the fold is there. Come on, Pat. You know that. Okay, there's one pocket. And this is, I went online and found a map of Edinburgh area that's in the public domain and copied it and have printed it on cardstock. Not terribly readable. All right, let's do a little wedge. This one goes there like that, making sure we're not in that fold. Now, I'm not really sure how long it's been. We're going to be brave because I want you to see. I'm going to do one more, reinforcing where that folds. Okay, here we go. See, that still looks wet in there. I'm going to use this ruler. I'm surprised. This one, let's look at this. Surprised that it is moving like that. Okay, and it's like that. There it is. There it is without its pages. This opens like that. I still think it needs to dry a bit more. Where are you? Just, and I might not have got glue on there very well, but that will work. And then I will do 4 holes for the elastic, and then I will make some booklets with cardstock covers, and then they will slide in to here, and there'll be 2 that can be removed. I will have those when I give you the very final view of this, but I'm not going to take you through that because that's just so basic. So stay tuned for the final view. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Sorry I was away so long. I promise I'll try to not be away so long. I'll be right back.